Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be a bit of a spoiler for those who aren't caught up on Attack on Titan. So this video is kind of going to be a spoiler for Attack on Titan Season 4 Episode 8 or Attack on Titan Episode 67, I think it is. But just know, like, this is the spoiler warning, so if you're not caught up, please don't watch this video. Okay everyone, now that that's out of the way, today I'm going to show you what I'll be making. I'm going to be making a meal, a tribute, like the title that I have it as. It's a tribute to the one and only Potato Girl Sasha. So here I have a potato, and I think I'm going to make one baked potato, some steak, and this is some parsley to go with the steak, and then some garlic cloves, salt and pepper, and oil for the potato, and then some tiny potatoes too I'm gonna have on the side. So let's first get this started, and the first thing I'm gonna be showing you is this potato. So I've already cleaned the potato, I kind of scrubbed it. Now I'm gonna start putting the olive oil on it and the salt. So I'll show you what that looks like when I'm done. Okay everyone, I'm back. But for real though, rip Sasha. She was honestly like really funny character, and I loved that one episode where she had her character development in season 2. But back to the cooking. So what I did was, with this potato, I'm gonna bake it in the oven. So I have the oven at 425 degrees Fahrenheit, and we have the potato here. I rubbed it down in olive oil first, then I put salt and black pepper all over it. Then I got a fork and I started to like prick holes in it, so it would be able to, like, you know, let out steam or something. But next I'm gonna put it in the oven at 425. It's gonna be in the oven at 425 for 50 to 60 minutes, and I'm gonna like continuously flip it and roll it so that way all of it gets baked on the inside. So I'm gonna put it in the oven for about 50 minutes, and I'll take it out, and then I think I'll inspect it and see if I want to put it back in. Okay, so while that's gonna be in the oven for like a while, I'm gonna start on to the next thing that I'm gonna make, and that's going to be steamed potatoes. So right here I have the red potatoes that I'm gonna steam. I'm gonna dry them off, but for now the recipe calls for 1/3 cup of butter. So I cut that up, and I'm gonna let it melt inside of the pan. So once it's melted and fully coats the pan, that's when I'm gonna put in the potatoes and the seasoning, and then we're gonna let that sit for about 30 to 35 minutes while I'm continuously checking on it and stirring on it. So when this is melted and I'm gonna put the potatoes in, I'll come back. Okay everyone, so it looks like the butter is just about melted. So I'm gonna gradually add in the potatoes that are now dry. I'll put the potatoes over there. I gotta go get the spoon I was using. But here we go. So the butter just about melted. Yeah, all of it's melted. And we're gonna keep the heat on low. Oh, my finger was in the way. I'm gonna keep the heat on low and add in all the potatoes. So once I'm done adding these all in, I'm gonna put a cover on top of it and let them sit in here for about 30 minutes. But before I let them sit, I have to season them with salt and pepper. So let me just put these in. My bad, my cameraman Manning is bad. I can't really hold this right with my left hand. I'm not really a lefty. But next thing I'm gonna do is add in some black pepper all over in here, and then some salt. That's enough. Maybe a little bit more black pepper. I don't think I added enough. But you know, you don't really have to like measure it. You can just eyeball it to like whatever you think is right. So I'm gonna keep it on low here, That's low. And then we're gonna put this lid on and let them sit in this for 30 minutes. And then the next thing I'm gonna do is the steak. So I'm gonna start heating up this pan right away, and then I'll show you what you have to do for the steak. Hey, I also forgot to mention that with the potatoes, what we're supposed to do is when it's done cooking, you're gonna want to have some parsley, and you're gonna want to cut it up and mix it in with the potatoes when they're done cooking, the steamed potatoes over here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut up the parsley. I got some curly parsley. I think I was supposed to get the normal parsley, but where I was shopping at, the normal parsley looked pretty bad. So I just decided to get the curly one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end up like kind of getting them off the main stem, and then I'm gonna dice them up and chop them and put them in a separate bowl for later. So when this is done, I'll put it in a bowl and I'll mix it all together. So I'm gonna chop this right now. So I just finished chopping up the parsley, got it in a bowl right here. I also chopped up 2 of the garlic cloves because that's what the recipe for this steak says. So I'm going to set this aside so we can get started on the porterhouse steak for Sasha, because her last words were meat. So I had to include some potatoes and meat in honor of her. So I'm gonna get started on the meat. Okay, this part might get a little awkward because I'm cooking this all at the same time. So oh crap, that's not moving. Okay, I guess I'll have to use the good old spoon. I accidentally turned the heat up on this and now it's getting done. And I should have cooked it on low, so I moved it back on low. And hopefully it'll cook right. But next step that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with the steak. So with the steak, I'm gonna take it out and I'm gonna put 1 teaspoon of pepper, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1.5 teaspoons of salt on this when it's raw, and I'm gonna like rub it in. So I'm gonna do that real quick and then I'll put it in the pan. But before I put it in the pan, I'm gonna put in 1 tablespoon of olive oil. I'm not really gonna measure it, I'm just gonna estimate. So let me just put this in real quick because it says the olive oil should be hot. That's just about 1 tablespoon, I think. And then we're also gonna need some butter, some fresh rosemary, but instead I ended up using dried because I couldn't find any fresh, and 2 cloves of garlic. So here's the skillet. I have it on. I don't really know if this is a skillet, but I have the oil getting warm. Then the next step, I'm gonna rub in the 1.5 teaspoons of salt and 1 teaspoon of black pepper. This is kind of confusing, but I'm gonna rub that in on this raw. Then I'll put it in here and then I'll show you what it looks like. But once I put it in, I'm gonna sear it for about 3 to 4 minutes. And once it gets brown, I'm gonna flip it, do the other side, and then I'll do like the side with the fat along here, as you can see. And then after that, I'm gonna turn the heat on low, add in the butter, rosemary, garlic, and I'm just gonna baste it, I think is what it's called. So yeah, I'm gonna cut to when this is in the pan. Okay everyone, I'm back. I also forgot to mention, before I put on the seasonings, I patted the steak dry with paper towels. So now I have it searing with the olive oil. I'm gonna have this side sear for about 3 to 4 minutes, then flip it again for another 3 to 4 minutes. I kind of forgot about these, but coming back to the potatoes, I've been shaking them up. The heat's been on low. And then this one I flipped like once, I think. And I think I'm gonna flip it again right now. So this first side is almost done. And then I'll come back when I need to flip it. Okay everyone, 4 minutes is up. I'm gonna flip this. Oh, sorry for the bad angles. I don't know if you can hear it, but this is searing like really good. This is what the side looks like, the other side. So now I have it searing on the other side. I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Okay, everyone, sorry I didn't get to show the next step, but the other step was to sear the fat on, I kind of set the smoke detector off, so I had to shut that off. But after that's done, you want to turn the heat off to low, and then you want to put in the butter, garlic cloves, and rosemary. And then you want to, like, get a spoon and, like, baste it, I guess you could say, like, you know, start throwing it on. So I'm going to do that right now. So what I'm doing right now is when it melts, I'm going to, like, throw it back on top. I'm sure you've seen other people do this. But that's essentially the whole process of this. When the juices come to the bottom, you throw it back at the top. I should have let the butter melt a little more. But yeah, that's what you want to do. Okay, I'm sorry for that last segment. I was like moving really fast. I had a lot to do. But now I think the steak is done. I didn't get to check the potatoes, but oh crap, the camera. It just got so much stuff on it. But I think the potatoes are done. And then the one in the oven has like 2 minutes left, so that's just about done too. But I'll check up on these and I'll put that on a plate and cut into it so you can see what it looks like. And I'll show you how soft these are too. So I'll be back. Okay, so now I took the steamed potatoes out, and this is what they look like. I put in the parsley. I haven't really mixed it in, I just put it on top. But this is what it looked like. This is what it looks like. So there's the steamed potatoes, and then I'll show you the baked potato and the steak once the steak is done resting. Here we have the baked potato. As you can see, the skin's kind of peeling. I didn't really get to go into it yet, but after I show you the steak when it's done resting, I'll go into them and then I'll tell you what I think about them and how they taste. Okay, everyone, I'm gonna cut into it. So I've let it rest for a while, so let's take a look at what it looks like on the inside. Oh, it's not too pink. I like it. It's not too pink. It's not, like, well done. Let's take another slice in, see what we got more towards the middle. And it's a little bit more pink. Once again, it's not really that pink. And then let's look on this side. What it looks like in there. This is what it looks like in there. This is what it looks like there. We also have some of the garlic and rosemary left. And this is the baked potato over here. I didn't get to eat it yet. And then, once again, the potatoes with the parsley. Okay, everyone. Oh my goodness. As you can see of what I have left of the potatoes. Oh, it was so good. I ended up making like 2 other steaks for my family in the same way. And oh my goodness, the potatoes were so good. The steamed potatoes were so good. I didn't really get to eat the baked potato because the steak, oh my, I don't even know where to start on the steak. I threw out the bone because, like, oh man, there's just no words. That steak was just immaculate. It was just so good. And the potatoes were too, and the parsley really added like a new flavor that kind of added on to it, because the potatoes, as you know, can kind of be bland, and with like basic seasonings like salt and pepper, I feel like the parsley really gave like another flavor that kind of drew you to it. And that's kind of how it was with the steak and the rosemary, in my opinion, because the butter and the rosemary just went so well together with the steak. And oh my goodness, I could talk about that steak forever, but I'm not gonna in this video. Like, oh, it was just so juicy, tender, perfect. Like, I can't even think of any other compliments. Like, just, it was the best steak I ever had, honestly. And back to the main point of this video. Rip Sasha. She was a real one, and that steak was a tribute to her. I hope she can enjoy that steak as well, and the baked potato and the steamed potatoes as well. Rip Sasha. Aaron did nothing wrong, by the way. And I'm gonna end the video there. Thanks for watching.